Hi everybody. How are you all doing today? This is BA Bad 1 and today I bring you a video of the damage record in defense, set by one of my fleet members, Ogotoso. Defense is the latest campaign ship and is one you surely shouldn't miss out on. She has Collingwood's similar configuration of 3 2-gun turrets in the front, although these are 356mm or 14-inch guns like the one King George V has. She also has 2 launchers of 4 torpedoes in the front and these are turning torpedoes, similar to the ones you find in the British battlecruisers. She has sonar and 5 charges of British destroyers' smokes like the ones you find in Belfast 43. Just be aware that your smoke detection radius is huge because of the size of the guns. She also has great British heals, capable of healing even a very decent amount of citadel damage. And you are probably going to need it if you don't make good use of the ship's Nelson-like armor scheme, meaning, you need to angle a little bit to bait your enemies into shooting your side armor but having the ship angled enough for the shells to bounce on it. Anyway, let's get on with the show, shall we? Ogotoso is playing in the estuary map, spawning on the bottom right spawn. He is using Asia Lane Commander Cheshire and she provides a boost to the main battery reload as well as reducing citadel damage taken. Her unique skill also improves the angle at which enemies' shells bounce on your armor, making her an excellent fit for this ship. He is using Francesco Mimbelli and Ivan B. Delightful to improve the ship's main battery reload, and getting a reduction in time after firing the guns. One could also be using Harold B. Farncombe to get the same main battery reload time improvement and the same time reduction, but only when firing in smoke, as well as a smoke detection radius. He using the usual beyond range, button through and fixated, as well as refill station to further improve main battery reload and if an ally is close by, range 2. One could use Pisser as an alternative to beyond range, to boost AP shell penetration as well as fully packed to refill station, to get more of each consumable as well as faster reloads to use them. Another base commander you could be using, is Asia Lane Belfast, if you do not have fully packed in mind. She has the same used skills and reduces the radius of detection while firing in smoke, which adds up with her unique skill that can reduce it even further and provides a boost to smoke screen radius, at the cost of having one less smoke. This skill is usable only in ships with several smokes, as having only one smoke in most ships does not compensate to have this effect. But let's get to the battle. Ogotoso already found the enemy Napoli and sent some AP love, resulting in around 13,000 damage with 3 pens and an overpen, and here just had a little bit more, with 4 pens. He is keeping that angled position to bait the Napoli's shots onto his side armor, making them ricochet, like I mentioned before, but the Napoli already knowed about this, so is shooting high explosive shells instead and at the weakest part of the armor, the nose, to guarantee they penetrate. Another salvo, another 3 pens and an overpen. Napoli knows she overextended and is going back to port soon. Ogotoso tried some high explosive shells here, since Napoli was kiting away, but the results were mediocre. He turns back to armor-piercing shells to finish her off, since she had to dodge that stationary nautical obstacle also known as island. And guess what? He had great success and got the first blood medal. He now has 49,000 damage. Stay tuned for more as Napoli's teammates, that spawned in the same place approach the area. One of them has the sonar up, meaning right now it is kind of pointless to use torpedoes or the smoke screen, so Ogotoso is just backing up so he is no longer spotted and they have to make a move. Meanwhile, his teammate in the Carl 14 Johan is being fried up and is trying to make it to cover, but while doing so, he ends up taking a torpedo and exposing his broadside, taking a lot of damage and is not long for this world, shifting the number of ships back into balance. And as soon as the enemy's sonar runs out, Ogotoso pops up the smoke screen just in case the enemies are right around the corner. The enemy Pullman is still detected and will surely make a move now. That's why Ogotoso gets in position to send out some torpedoes, while avoiding the carcass of his fallen teammate. Now, normally I would send the torpedoes a little further back, counting on enemies to be a bit more cautious when making a turn around an island, but we will see how this goes. In the meantime, while we wait, notice most of the blue team went to the left, meaning there are only 2 blue ships on this side. The torpedoes all connect, which is the best possible outcome. And as soon as Pummon gets detected by the other ship on this side, Ogotoso blasts him and gets the devastating strike medal. You can see on the map, there are at least 3 more enemy ships on this side, meaning at least 2 of the central spawn enemy ships sail to this flank too. The first one of them is Iwami, and she is going completely broadside, which is great for some armor penetrating shells, so here goes some more. This time Ogotoso gets detected, so he looks around to see if an enemy had sailed across the island, since by the way, I don't know if you noticed, but this is a match with no destroyers, meaning there is a big value of potential damage in place, and Ogotoso is already counting 135,000, mostly thanks to the reckless Pummon. Although he is detected again by an enemy sonar, he is trying to keep behind cover while he keeps shooting at Iwami, while bearing in mind an enemy could flank him at any time. Awareness of enemy position is very important, and you should always keep an eye for enemy movement on the map, even if they are not spotted at the time. In that case, picture what you could be doing in the same situation, having the same heading. Here, Ogotoso gets a citadel on Iwami, bringing his damage value up to 160,000. By the way, I didn't have time to mention in the beginning of the video, but the modules he is using are the main battery mod, steering gears mod, concealment mod and main battery again. The first main battery mod serves as a counter effect on the second main battery mod's negative effect on the turret rotation. This ship has pretty good accuracy and her turrets are slow, so you can avoid using aiming systems mod. So, the enemies that were headed for the base finally decided to make a move, and again Ogotoso sends some torpedo greetings, a little to the front of the indicator. I think he expects enemies to accelerate even further, and again keeping an eye out on the other flank, to which he is exposing his broadside, to make sure it is safe to do so. You can see, this time around, the enemy did not sail full throttle as Ogotoso expected and sailed to the side, meaning these torpedoes are unlikely going to hit their mark. In the meantime, he is again making good use of cover as he shoots at the enemy navrin between the gaps of the island and gets the high caliber medal. And as soon as he is spotted, he uses his smoke screen to hide himself. Now, because the enemy is too close, he won't shoot, knowing that will get him detected due to his 11-kilometer smoke firing penalty. Even with the best concealment you can get, using Asia Lane Belfast, the value is 6.4 kilometers, so that wouldn't help any better in this situation. The navrin still took a shot at him for that small time detection and gave him a huge hit. But now you can see the heal working its magic as he gets a lot of health back, even after 2 citadel hits. This is one of those situations where a spotting ally can really help you a lot, but unfortunately the ally cruiser that is sailing to the limit of the map went too far and is no longer spotting navrin, so all that Ogotoso can do is to focus on the enemy defense and shoot some torpedoes at him while trying to defend the base. The enemy Iwami is still behind the same islands as before, so caution is advised when backing up from this area. The smoke screen is over and the enemy defense didn't sail forward after all, so Ogotoso is going to try to shoot one set of torpedoes at navrin in a YOLO fashion, while also taking a beautiful shot at the defense, hitting one citadel. But wait, there's more. This time around navrin is too close to dodge the torpedoes and is sure to go down, so Ogotoso just focuses on the defense, hitting her with 3 more citadel hits and destroying one of the turrets permanently. He took quite the beating with this maneuver, but his last heal is almost reloaded, and the enemy defense just needs 1 more shot to go down. And so she does, with 2 more hits to the citadel. The damage count is now almost at 280,000. And there are still 4 enemies to take out. On the left flank, where the blues had ship superiority, one of them went down while none of the enemies did so. So far the only enemies killed have been secured by Ogotoso. And here, he is using high explosive shells once again since the enemy Iwami Black is kiting away and armor-piercing shells are most likely to ricochet. He does hit and get a fire, meaning the enemy is most likely done for. Notice how he is now looking for where some shells were shot at him from before. Remember, awareness of your enemy's position is very important. Again, having a broadside target is where the armor-piercing shells are most effective, but it's not all the time that they connect the way you want to. That's just how random number generating works for you, but when you fail, try again until you succeed. Another important thing is to finish off enemies. Removing an enemy from the game means taking out the enemy's team capabilities to do damage, so one should always do so whenever possible, before they can get some health back or worse. However, this Tulsa is going to be a pain in the neck and hard to hit, so Ogotoso ends up missing some potential damage he could have gotten out of that Alaska. I also didn't mention before, but the main battery mod Ogotoso is using in slot 4 is an epic one, meaning besides the regular reload boost it provides, he has long been receiving an additional boost related to how much damage he has done, and has been maxed out for a while. If you are concerned with the turret traverse of the ship, you could use the range mod as an alternative, so you don't get a negative effect on it, while also improving the range and the accuracy of the ship instead of the reload. So, here Ogotoso got yet another medal, but no, it wasn't the Kraken, yet. Tulsa keeps eluding him, but Alaska is still taking some hits, just not as good as you want them to be. Confederate is won nonetheless, as the 300,000 damage barrier was broken a while ago. Surprisingly, in a match with no destroyers, the spotting of enemies has overall been quite good, and he is taking as much advantage of that in this situation as he can. Whenever you can take shots at enemies without putting yourself at risk, use that opportunity for as long as you can. Just remember that if the spotter is taking shots, it may be necessary to trade that operation, so he can recover some health back and stay in the fight. So the Tulsa was finally taken out and the Kraken is finally released. He did serve, however, as a good example as how to negate damage from his enemies. Battleships usually absorb or ricochet damage. Lighter ships like cruisers and destroyers can negate damage by dodging it and wasting enemies' shots. We are now close to the end of the battle as Iwami is finally also sent to Davy Jones' locker, leaving only one enemy left to finish up. There is only Alaska left to set the final value of Ogotoso's damage record in defense. Be sure to give a thumbs up in the video and show your appreciation to him in the comment section below. Please subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video. I have several other of great games played by me and some of my fleet mates, as well as videos with tips and tricks about ship builds and configuration, commanders, and all you need to know. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, but I will answer them all. And here in the final screen, you can see the final value of 340,633 damage. You can also see why I don't understand why players complain about legendary tier service costs when you can make more than enough to cover them. 4,190 base experience is quite a nice value too, way more than double of the second position player. And that, as they say, is that. I hope you enjoyed the video and that you will be interested in watching some others. Thank you for watching, good games and goodbye.
Our team depends upon you.
Much obliged, Commander.
That's how it's done. Nice work. Good game, everyone.
Bye, have a great time.